Hi, I'm Randy Mellow, President of the Paramedic Chiefs of Canada, and I'd like to thank you for viewing this update of our recent activities of our association. PCC continues to work with the Canadian Institute for Public Safety Research and Treatment, or CIPSRT, to address the issues of mental health in the first responder community. Your association has committed support to CIPSRT to be the dedicated research hub which will enhance the well-being of public safety personnel, their organizations, and their families. Last month, PCC attended the Canadian Institute for Military Veteran Health Conference, or CIMVER, where Minister of Public Safety Ralph Goodale was present and provided opening remarks. He demonstrated his support of the work of CIPSRT and CIMVER, as well as his sensitivity and commitment to the mental health issues among military and first responders. Adjacent to this, the members of CIPSRT met and discussed the following: the governance model for the Public Safety Steering Committee, funding for CIPSRT via the Canadian Institute for Health Research, a communication strategy to better inform the tri-services community. PCC was also invited to attend a meeting with the Public Health Agency of Canada, or PHAC, at the CIMVER conference to discuss Bill C-211. As a result of the bill, the federal government, through Health Canada, is required to hold a conference within 12 months and to provide a framework to address PTSD within 18 months. PCC will actively be involved in this, and we recognize the short timelines to accomplish the work. We'll continue to work with CIPSRT and our partners to ensure funding is secured for the mental health and wellness of paramedic community and to keep you informed as this progresses. Also connected to the work of CIPSRT, through Public Safety Canada, a Master Trainer program has been created and offered to paramedics to become trained in the Road to Medal Readiness, or R2MR. Through PCC, a number of paramedics have completed a Master Trainer program and are now training their peers as instructors in R2MR. Our KPI working group is progressing on their important work. As outcomes of PCC's strategic plan, the work of this group is dedicated to establishing clinical key performance indicators, or KPIs, with a core objective of the creation of a repository of industry standards guided by evidence in areas of clinical outcomes related to system design and performance to assist paramedic services in assessing and benchmarking. A conceptual framework has been developed, and this includes, first, tiered measures designed to enable all members to participate within their individual capabilities. Measures, no matter who collects them and at what level, that can contribute to the overall PCC library of knowledge. And collective knowledge created through models that allow all members to benefit from program or service improvements made by others that positively impact measures. The next step for this group is to create an initial list of KPIs and to discuss and define the appropriateness as well as the inclusion or exclusion criteria. This is a segment of the project that's time demanding and critical for success. Along with the KPIs, additional model details will be developed, and the working group will begin to consider how to address reporting. I'd like to thank the chairs of this working group, Marty Scott of Alberta Health Services, Rick Farron from Niagara EMS, for their dedication and their expertise. In Canada, over 30,000 paramedics and communications officers stand ready to respond to people in need. Each day as they perform these tasks with compassion and dedication, these same individuals are at a high risk for being victims of violence and abuse. It's for that reason that the Paramedic Chiefs of Canada issued a position statement stating violence against paramedics is unacceptable, and to that end, the PCC issued a zero-tolerance position on physical and verbal attacks on paramedics and support staff. Details of this position statement can be found at our website, www.paramedicchiefs.ca. There's also a downloadable template for a decal to emphasize the zero-tolerance policy that you can opt to place in your respective service ambulances. PCC received very positive feedback on both the position statement and the decal concept, and even received international interest. We intend to seek funding now for evidence-based research to better understand violence to our paramedics and strategies to mitigate this growing problem. And on to our fall business meeting. PCC recently held the fall business meeting in Whitehorse, Yukon. It's the first time our board has met in one of our Canadian territories. We've recognized the importance of supporting our partners in Northern Canada, and we're planning a strategy on how we can better engage the paramedic services in the territories. So at the meeting, we dedicated a significant amount of time to discuss our white paper and the work of our research team to date. Walter Tavares joined us via teleconference for the portion of the meeting. And as the PCC board serves as a steering committee, we had an opportunity to provide feedback on the research process. Specifically, we reviewed a description of the research questions, overview of study design, and discussed sampling strategies and implications of that study design and sampling strategies on the deliverables. So in terms of next steps for the white papers, we'll finalize the research protocol and follow up with the steering committee. We'll be drafting for research ethics approval. And in early 2019, we'll start a nomination process for research interviewees and then embark on interview process to assist us in forming a basis on which to develop a future vision of paramedicine in Canada. We look forward to engaging all of our members and stakeholders in this critical phase of our white paper. I'd specifically like to thank our research committee with our Vice President Dale Weiss serving as the chair, Angela Graham with MD Ambulance. We have Charles Dallaire and Renee Danielle Boulay from Medavie, Ian Blanchard with Alberta Health Services, Jeremy Measham with Island EMS, Neil McDonald, who's with Winnipeg Fire and Paramedic Services, and of course Walter Tavares with the University of Toronto. Thank you to all of you for volunteering your time to this key component of our white paper. And on to the Public Safety Broadband Network. At our meeting, PCC was pleased to include Lawrence Chow, Director of the Temporary National Coordination Office on the Public Safety Broadband with Public Safety Canada. The TNCO serves as a single point of contact for stakeholders on national PSBN work and will develop national options and recommendations for the potential public safety broadband network for Canada. This is supported by research, analysis, and stakeholder engagement. Lawrence provided us with an update on some of the key functions of the TNCO, and those would include policy and outreach, research and development, program development. The board was provided a chance to provide feedback on the vision of the future public safety communications in Canada and what the key priorities or requirements would be for a PSBN. We certainly appreciated Lawrence joining us in Whitehorse, and we will keep you up to date on this work as it progresses. I'd like to provide a special thank you to Chief Doug Saka from Hastings Quinte EMS for continuing to represent us on this important file. We were reminded during our time in the North that much of Canada truly is rural and remote, and there's an opportunity to engage with paramedic communities in the North and learn from these remote areas. So to that end, PCC is developing a strategy to be more inclusive of our northern counterparts, not just in the Yukon, but also the territories and the northern portions of each and every one of our provinces. We'd really like to thank our board member, Gerard Din, for hosting us in Whitehorse. In closing, I'd once again like to thank our dedicated partners, Furno, Physio, Crestline, Demirs, Interdev, Intermedics, and Zoll for their unwavering support. And finally, with holidays rapidly approaching, I'd like to wish you all a safe and joyous holiday season. Thank you to all of you for assisting us in advancing and aligning paramedic leadership in Canada. And always remember, you can follow @Paramedic Chiefs on Twitter, and you can find us on Facebook. And to keep up to date on our activities, go to our webpage, paramedicchiefs.ca. Thank you.